So the name of the book is The Harriet Tubman Way, an inspirational guide to self-love, empowerment, and legendary leadership for girls. So important. And joining us is the author, Karol V. Brown. She's in our virtual green room, and she joins us here on Author's Corner with me, Kate Delaney, on America Tonight. Karol, thanks for coming on.
Oh, I'm so honored to be here with you, Kate. And I always love to talk about my book and Harriet Tubman.
Harriet Tubman, really, I think people know a little bit about Harriet Tubman. She's been immortalized in several television movies and on the big screen. And now more people are starting to get how influential she was, how many people she helped, the impact that she had really on the culture. Tell me about what led you to writing about Harriet Tubman.
Well, I started out first portraying Harriet. I'm a storyteller, and I've been portraying her on stage as the elderly version of Harriet Tubman, 92 year old, because she lived to be 93. And I've done that for no, about 20, almost 25 years now. But along the way, after doing all my research on Harriet, everything I could find, fiction, nonfiction, I thought I had a different insight on Harriet. I felt like I wanted to teach more about her character and what it took for her to do what she did, what made her the strong, courageous woman. And so my first book was 30 Lessons in Love, Leadership, and Legacy from Harriet Tubman. I published that in 2013. And this latest book started off as a revision of that one, but it soon became more. It became something felt like I wanted to do eventually, and now it was time. And that was to make it a book that was teaching girls self-love, because I felt like it's no way that Harriet Tubman could have actually felt that she was worthy to be a free person in the situation where she was brought up third generation slavery, that she had to have that self-love inside to believe that she could be free and to realize her dream after putting that in her mindset. And so I wanted to teach that to our girls so that they know that just like this little girl named Minty grew up to be someone who was honored and appreciated 100 years after her death, and on and on.
What did you find out about Harriet Tubman after portraying her for so long, after knowing a lot about Harriet? What did you find out that maybe surprised you or was kind of an aha moment?
Well, there was just so much that I hadn't learned before, like the fact that she lived to be 93 years old, that she had a home sheltered for people who didn't have any place to go in Auburn, New York. That's where she spent her most of her life after the Civil War. That she took care of her parents. She had property. She had a house when it was illegal for a black person to even own property. She was able to access property. During the Civil War, Harriet helped women who were newly freed slave women to learn how to take care of themselves by having little businesses. Like she would have gather the women in her cabin at night, and they would prepare gingerbread and root beer and pies and sell it to the soldiers. And she also taught the women how to do laundry. So she just touched people's lives in so many different ways, other than what people generally know, the Underground Railroad, which was part of her life, a very significant part, but she never stopped helping people.
And what's so interesting about her, and you know this too, I mean, she's credited with, and it could be even more than this, with liberating more than 700 enslaved people. And of course, she is the first woman, if you want to call it this, to lead an armed military operation in the US.
Yes, exactly. And I let people know if they go to the CIA website today that they will see them showing Harriet Tubman and appreciating her for her service. She did lead a gun raid that freed almost 800 people in one day, not losing one of the men that was on working with her. And yeah, that's very significant. The very first woman in this country to be credited like that.
Where do you think Tubman got it from? Was it her upbringing? Because, of course, it was rough what happened when she was born and what she dealt with in her early days as a child. Was it the family? What do you think it was about her? Because you had her inside your head, so to speak. So I think you may have a unique insight.
Right. I want to say she had the spirit of a leader, and that was just definitely inherited. Fortunately, she had her mother and father around, and they were both very, of course, very religious and taught her about faith. But she also had a grandmother around who was straight from Africa, and I know that she had to have some influence on her too. I tell stories about the grandmother advising her or uplifting her to know that she came from strong people. She came from people that had property and all types of freedoms. And I just think that she had that spirit in her DNA. But then she also had a severe head injury that sort of triggered things in her mind. You know, I always said sometimes it takes a major event to have a transformation for people. After she got hit in the head, she started having visions and became more determined to have her freedom and to realize the joy that she knew she had a birthright to. So I just think she was a special person born with that in her passion for being a help to other people and loving other people.
How important, because you talk about this in your book, and this is about empowering girls through really Harriet Tubman, her way, as you say, the Harriet Tubman way. How important is it for girls to find their superpowers?
I think today our young girls have so many things that are thrown to them to say, this is the way you should be, or be like them, or be like her. And they forget to learn who they are themselves. We all have superpowers. And when we are able to appreciate who we are, that basically is opening up your superpower, being the original, authentic you, and not trying to be like someone else, because that's hiding the gift that you have inside. It's not coming through. So I teach that, and I have a gift box. And the gift box has the books in there, and it has items like a pack of seeds just to remind them that they are already the beautiful woman that they see themselves being one day, but they have to be nourished along the way. And to realize that you're already that beautiful flower or the beautiful tree that's in this package of seeds is just a way of keeping them motivated and understanding that in time, being themselves, they will be all the greatness that they have inside.
Oh, I love that. I'm getting chills. So well said. You talk about so much more in this book, which, by the way, you can get on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. You can also get it on Shopify. You've got a great store, Girls United by Love store on Shopify. And it has t-shirts, the Harriet Tubman t-shirts. Your daughter was an incredibly skilled artist, if I may say so, and she did a wonderful portrait of Harriet Tubman. And on the book, people listening, she drew Harriet Tubman younger and older, and it's incredible, the likeness. So wow that she did that for you. And you can get those t-shirts and so much more on Shopify, right?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And your words are so inspiring, and you talk about love in action, you talk about mentorship, which I think is so important. You talk about, she had legendary servant leadership, and you talk about that, and there's so many other things. There's great exercises in this book and whatnot that can just empower and encourage so many young women. And I think anybody actually could read this book. So, Karol, thank you so much for coming on. Karol Brown, again, Karol V. Brown. You can get that stuff again, Amazon, Shopify, wherever great books are sold. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate your time, Kate. Appreciate it.
Visit us at www.greatwritersmedia.com. Email us at info@greatwritersmedia.com or call us at +1 877 556 0